This thing is an absolute freaking monster wheelie machine. Feast your eyes on the class of 2000. Woo! Unless you've ridden one of these before or raced one, I can tell you this. I sponsored John Dowd in 2003, and he rode the same exact bike. I have his race bike in the museum. One of them, and they gave him one of the factory engines, and he couldn't ride it. It was too fast. He put the stock motor in because they are freaking awesome. He whole shot more motos on that privateer Ktm 520 that I sponsored him on than any other bike in his career. In a season, he got 7 whole shots and ran in the top 5 multiple motos on the Kaplan cycles, PC Worldwide, Cernix.com, Ktm 520, which is a replica of this one right here. This is a 2000 KTM 520. This is Wizard's personal pet project. We worked on this for over 2 years. When I show you the graphics package, which are all serialized, this is number 74. Christy's well into the hundreds now. So she did the graphics package on this. And it is absolutely runs phenomenal. This bike is a replica of the one John rode. The Wizard, Chris Kelly, aka Chris Kelly, also AMA Pro card holder and local pro rider. Actually won the Friday night qualifiers for the National. He won one of the LCQs on his 520. So this bike was the let's call it the equalizer, because you could be a privateer with a stock motor, get your suspension done, and you would be extremely competitive. The AMA outlawed them, so you couldn't run them in the Nationals the year after that because, well, the manufacturers were complaining because their 450s just couldn't compete. Like I said, Christy was on. If you look at the rear fender, this is Christy's kit number 74, Steiger Designs, printed by Aggressive Graphics. Lenthal bars, VP fuel, ODI grips, all the best to everything on here. It's got a full Hahn wheel set, Hahn wheels with Warp 9 rim set, flap, swing arms polished. Every Wizard did a frame off restoration. This was his pet project, kind of a side project thing that he worked on. Took him 2 years gathering all the parts. And I actually have John Dowd's 520. One of the ones we sponsored on is in the factory still right now. We have to restore that one next, but it's got the Kaplan Cycles graphic on there, courtesy of Christy Steiger Designs. Thing is an absolute freaking rocket. Now this would be a kick-ass GNCC or cross-country bike also. Listen to this thing. Big bore, 4-stroke monster. It fits me perfectly, man. I love this bike.
Hats off to the Wizard, Chris Kelly. The bikes that he loves working on, these 520s and the CR 500s, he does an incredible job. He does an incredible job on all the bikes, but this one here was his pet project. He wanted to build the ultimate 520, and it took him almost 2 years. The work order only has 68 hours on it, but he worked on it on and off for 2 years, ordering parts and other things. But when I was riding it, I was thinking, this is like the CR 500 of 4-strokes, because it has more power than any mortal. If John Dowd at the national pro level was whole shotting against the factory teams with a stock motor, how do I know that the motor was stock? I was one of the sponsors. I knew exactly what was in there. Ron Bushy, his mechanic, and I talked about it, and KTM sent him a race engine, and he was over jumping everything. It was uncontrollably fast. So that thing was probably pushing 62, 63 horsepower. It was too much. So he rode the stock motor and whole shot 7 nationals. Just unbelievable. This bike is power everywhere. It's carbureted perfectly, starts easily. It's a big bore. It's a 520, but it's easy to kickstart. It kickstarts like a 125 or a 250 because it has a compression release. You just pull the compression release in and give it go past TDC and give it a quick, swift kick, and it starts right up. It's an absolute hoot. One of the best four-stroke engines I've ever ridden. Made in Austria by KTM. Absolute powerhouse, big bore, four-stroke. So this was an 11-page work order, an open wallet rebuild restoration. Like we never once questioned, what it's going to cost to do it or how long it's going to take, or no corners were cut on this. The Wizard, he's our lead MX mechanic and a 520 freak. He raced these for years. He swears by them. And this was a really good core bike, a low hour Cherry that Chris took all the way, took it right down to the frame. I'll get into what he did to the running gear, but I want to talk about the real magic, the engine on this thing. Gave it a crank up engine rebuild, a complete refresh of all the consumables, tires, brakes, suspension was all redone, and a pro level cosmetic race prep package. Something this bike looks nicer than the bikes that John raced when he was racing the Nationals. I can tell you that for a fact. But this one here, brand new Pro X connecting rod kit, crank split, cases split, crank up rebuild with a new Pro X connecting rod, new main bearings and seals, a new cam chain. He sent the cylinder out and had it replated by Millennium. Has a new Wiseco piston kit, new full gasket kit, base gasket, head gasket. Every gasket and seal on the engine is brand new. A new cam timing chain kit, new OEM flywheel nut. Reassembled the engine. Did the valve lash to spec. It has a new kickstart seal in it. New OEM kickstart bolt and washer. New Scott's oil filters. New Bellray 2850 engine oil. A new magnetic drain plug, and new engine ice coolant with a new NGK spark plug. So completely rebuilt, top to bottom. Entire engine's internals are new. The fuel intake exhaust was all gone through. It has he replaced the OEM fuel tank with a nicer one we had in stock. That's something we had a large inventory of 520 parts that we've collected over the years, and he's used the best of everything. Has a new Acerbis gas cap, new all balls petcock. Sounds like you're saying something dirty. All balls petcock. But that's what it says here. New all balls petcock. The airbox is cleaned, prepped, and a new twin air filter was oiled and installed. The carburetor was, like I said, rebuilt. I think he's had it out of the bike at least 4 or 5 times, maybe 6, till it was jetted to perfection. And he put a lot of new parts in the original carburetor. It's got a new carb jet kit, clean set and adjusted the carb, new fuel lines, new carb vent hoses. It also has a new accelerator pump rebuild kit, and we're running a VP94, which is 94 octane ethanol-free fuel. You could run it on pump gas, but I don't like the ethanol and pump gas. If you leave it in there for more than a few months, it wreaks havoc on the carbs. We don't recommend it, especially in a 4-stroke. So you can pump gas this thing. It'll go just way faster than you'll ever need to go. But I recommend VP94 if you're going to leave the gas in there over the course of a winter or whatever. The wheels, the brakes, chain, everything's been gone through on the bike. Brand new Pirelli MX extra front and rear tires. Going to need to wash those. That's the only thing I need to wash because I only rode it on the tar. I didn't take it into the dirt. So it's still museum clean top to bottom. Front and rear tires and tubes, new tire locks, new tubes front and rear. The Wizard built, laced, and trued these Warp 9 wheels to the Han hubs, 21-inch front, 18 on the rear. I think it's an 18. Is that an 18 or 19? Can you read it? He didn't write the spec on 19-inch moto style. So new front and rear axle nuts, new front and rear brake systems, flushed and bled with new Motil brake fluid, new front brake pads, new rear brake pads, cleaned and lubricated the brake caliper sliders, new front brake lever, new front brake adjuster screw, and a new front brake dust cover. Whole new chain wheel kit set, a new Renthal front sprocket, a new Moose upper chain wheel, a new Moose lower chain wheel, a new Moose gold heavy-duty final drive chain. John was sponsored by Moose, so we thought it made sense to use the same stuff he was using. New Moose gold heavy-duty final drive chain, new TM Works chain slider, and a new TM Works chain block. Everything's brand new on the drive system. The controls and chassis have been totally gone through. It has new IMS Superstock Pro foot pegs. We prepped and painted the foot peg pins and screws. It has a brand new chrome or polished aluminum MSR shift lever. New Works connection frame guards. New AS3 Performance top handlebar clamp. and a new set of Renthal, thin wall, RC, Ricky Carmichael, the GOAT, high bend handlebars. In fact, John Dowd, you may or may not know this. I'm a huge Ricky Carmichael fan, big John Dowd fan. John Dowd is the only professional motocross rider in the history of motocross to beat Ricky Carmichael at Southwick. I think Ricky raced there like 8 or 10 years. Ricky had never been beat, and John Dowd straight up, fair and square, beat him at the Wick. So John's quite a legend in New England motocross and national motocross for sure. Has a new K&S KTM style kill switch, new Motion Pro throttle tube, new throttle cables, new ODI hand grips. We cleaned and lubricated the throttle housing, flushed and bled the clutch with new fluid, new steering head bearings and seals, new factory effects gripper seat cover, full nut and bolt check over, and this thing's cosmetically, it's been given a full rotisserie detail and refresh, including steam clean, hand wash, and decreased all the cycle parts. The bike came right down to the frame. The frame was sandblasted and painted the gloss black. So this is what we call a full frame off, nut and bolt restoration. Everything came off the chassis. That was painted and redone. The engine was completely rebuilt. The suspension was rebuilt. The brakes are rebuilt. The wheel sets are brand new. All the bearings and seals in this motorcycle are new. It has a new front fender, new front number plate, new fork guards, new radiator shrouds, new radiator protectors, new side number plates, new seat foam and seat cover, new rear fender, and of course this kick-ass Steiger Designs custom MX Graphics kit number 74. If you look, these custom kits that she does are one-offs. No two are ever the same, unless it's a Kaplan Cycles race team kits, but those ones aren't numberized. These numberized kits are only for frame-off restorations that we do, and we're well into the 100s now. She did this kit 2 years ago, and when I showed her the pictures and the videos of the bike, she was like, that was 2 years ago. What took so long? Well, projects like these, they're usually not real money makers. They're labors of love that we throw no expense budgets at, and there's no time limit for it. So he worked on it on and off. It just happened to be a little over 2 years between when he first took it apart and it first got back together. So it's been together probably 6 weeks now. He spent quite a bit of time tuning it and going over it with a fine-tooth comb and making sure it was perfect. So when it was apart, the swing arm was polished like chrome. That's not a chrome swing arm. That's aluminum that was professionally polished here in-house. Every nut and bolt on the bike, most all the hardware is new. All of the plastic mounting hardware, all the nuts and bolts are either new or perfect originals. So totally gone through. It also has a new, let's see, UFO front number plate, radiator shrouds. It has new side panels, rear mud flap. Yeah, it has a new rear mud flap. I left that part off. A new WP fork stickers. In addition to the swing arm, the exhaust was cap here was also professionally polished. That normally doesn't look chrome like that. That was polished. All of the every nut and bolt on the bike was clean and polished or replaced with a brand new one. I might have left a couple things off. Well, looking at this side here, you can see it has the sfbracing.net. This is a full custom aluminum engine cover. Chris gave me the price on that. I forgot what it was. I think it was like $600 or $700 for that cover. The WP factory connection shocks were rebuilt. The rear shock was rebuilt by Factory Connection. The WP forks are rebuilt by the Wizard. It's got the chrome head pipes on it. Just a spectacular piece, and it is an absolute hoot to ride. That's for sure. It's a monster, absolute monster. This would be I can't think of a better bike for riding like at Sand Mountain or Pismo or someplace where having more power than most mortals can use. We're talking CR 500 level power. And our dyno stock CR 500 is 52 horse. This bike's putting down 52 horse, which is remarkable for this era. So that's about it. That's about all I can. I'll show you the bottom side. Always recommend checking the frame rails on a motocross bike for sure, especially one from New England, right? Take a look-see here. Bottom of the engine is just as clean as the top. He vapor blasted everything. You can see the frame rails are freaking perfect, man.
just immaculate. Usually these bottom rails are all dinged in from rocks and ruts and stuff like that. This one's super clean. There's one little ding in the two little dings in the front here, probably from a little tiny rock coming off the front, or a rock coming off the front wheel. But just on a scale of 1 to 10, these are a solid 9.7. They're about as good as it gets.
It's as good as it gets, guys. It's better than it was, far better than it was the day it came out of the crate. And it's ready for another 20 years of moto. These things are absolutely bulletproof. Like I said, the work order was 68 hours and 11 pages work order, pages of parts, pages and pages. The parts came to $5,100 and 68 hours of labor, which we know was probably more than that, but that's what he had down. And I didn't have any of my time, of course, none of my time washing it, detailing it, testing it, tuning it. My time doesn't go on the work order. I'm a volunteer, I guess. But 68 hours of labor at $150 an hour was $10,200 plus $5,100 in parts. The work order came to $15,300 with tax. It's a $16,000 work order. So probably it's definitely more than the bike is going to sell for at auction, I'm sure. But and plus the cost of the bike. So when you go back to labor of love, that's what it is. Thank God we sold 100 new bikes a month, because we can't subsidize this hobby of restoring bikes, and we can't support the shop and the museum, losing money on everyone. But now and then you get a diamond like this. What a hoot, man. Riding it made it all right. The rider just took on it. That was worth the time and effort I put into it. That was my return on investment. So whoever gets this thing is getting a world-class national caliber weapon that's ready to go. You beat up on the new bikes or destroy the vintage bikes. Either way, you're going to have a blast. If you have any questions, give us a call. 860-454-7024. Thanks for watching. God bless America.